Hey guys, welcome to another segment of fixing up this car. Hopefully in this video we can actually get something accomplished, and figuring we'll mess around with this gas line a little bit. This is pretty much take right after the last video. You can see here we still got the valve cover to do, but I'm out here for the day, and one of the things about this car is I need to get it to where I can put wheels back on it all tore apart so it can move, so that I can work on sanding and painting the other pieces that bolts onto it. So this gas line needs to be done, and I want it done before I go and work on painting this, this part of the car. So another thing I might do is go ahead and slip this purge solenoid evap thing in there. There was the last time I had that computer plugged in, there was no code for this, and which is weird because I never hear it. Like these cars, GM cars, when you turn the car off, a few minutes after turning it off, you hear this thing go clickety clickety click. Never hear it on this car, and I swear to it that I have had a code for this before. Oh, who knows? I might climb underneath there and discover somebody jury-rigged it. Like I've done it before. All I gotta do is just wire in a relay to the plug, and like a relay out of here, and it'll fool the computer into thinking it's there. But basically it just measures an inductive load on it. But I talked about before about my things about this gas line I don't like. If you watch the other videos, you'll see what remember what I was talking about. But I paid 150 bucks for this line, and so it's going to go on this car. Hopefully I don't have any issues with these little splices, but first thing is I gotta get this a little bit higher off the ground. And alright, underneath the car, you can see the condition of the car underneath. I live in Middle Ohio, so cars generally die of rusting out around here. Pretty much the whole underneath of this thing is pretty good shape for its age and mileage. Getting to here, this is pretty much the worst section of this car. At this point it's just surface rust, bubbling up paint. I am going to put some seal all stuff on here. It's like a rubber stuff. I'm going to spray the bottom of the car with that. But it's been in this garage long enough that there should be no moisture stuck in, trapped here whenever, when I go to seal it. But one thing you can notice here, the gas line. See the gas lines up there? Things are in excellent condition. But as they get back here, they get rustier, and then up in here is, I think, is where the leak is, where the most amount of gas is. And then when you get back there, they look like new again. Pretty much just this section right here is what needs replaced. But I don't own like any kits or anything to to patch it. Like you watch any of those mechanic guys on YouTube, they got these kits with all little ends and little crimpers, and I don't have anything like that. So alright, so some of my dilemmas with this is they give you this extra piece of fuel line, and four new ends. So all they give you for directions is how to fasten these ends to the line. Not anything with like what this is for. Whether or not you're supposed to reuse any of the old connections, because they only give you 4 of those splices. And well, I managed to get the line unhooked from the little quick connect, which it seems like on this vehicle there's a half a dozen different kinds of quick connects. One of which that I had to take off in the back I've never seen before. Most of the time you just push in or squeeze or whatever. I got all of these undone. They seem to have different ways about how they come off. There's a little snap right here that you pry this way, and then the brake lines kind of actually work together is to actually, really, the brake lines actually are what holds the whole thing together, it seems. Got this guy here loose enough to where I can get the fuel lines out of it. I'm going to leave the brake lines in it. But I'm kind of confused on what I need to reuse or reuse here. But I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to get the line out of here and then start with the back, hook up the original connection for it, try to reuse what I can reuse, and if I have to replace something because it leaks, then I have hopefully some new connectors left over. Alright, I got the old line out, and there is a lot of things on this vehicle that was installed after the line was put in. Like, they put the line in and then a number of things was put in there afterwards. So, I mean, if it wasn't for the one of the emergency brake cables, probably could have got this out here in one piece. I cut it in two. But, I could just already tell when I'm going to put the new one in. I'm going to have to bend it, and keep bending it to get it to go the places it needs to go. I had to take out all the muffler hangers, exhaust hangers, to get space up in here. They had a bunch of heat shields like this wrapped around the line in various places, and you had to destroy them to get them off. I mean, you could zip tie them back on maybe, but then the zip tie could just melt because it's the heat shield. I don't think I'm gonna put the heat shield back on. I mean, it is in a steel line, which is gonna transfer heat, and the gasoline is always flowing through it. I just don't really see a reason to put it back on. But like I said, if I zip tie it, then it's right beside the exhaust, and I mean, there is a good space like this from these lines. Closest maybe is that, but I don't know. Alright, well, I did get the gas tank quick connect loose off there. It was one of them ones where basically the whole thing, you had to unbuckle it from one side and the whole thing slides out. It wasn't like a push button or squeeze kind of a thing. So I believe I can reuse it on the line, but just in case I got to replace one of the other ends. But alright, I'll see what we get. Alright, I got the fuel line all put on. Got my test relay in there. Basically, it's a permanently closed relay, and I stick it in to make the fuel pump run because my motor's all tore apart. And I don't have any leaks. But one of the things they required you to do, and I was right about how many fittings they gave you these ends. They expected you to reuse the fuel line when it comes out of the gas tank. So do whatever you do, don't cut that one off. And here's the original gas line. And it's the same plastic line inside, but it's bigger. So you cannot use their end on this line. So that's why they give you that little line. No leaks so far that I can tell. Underneath, excuse me a second. I couldn't get it up into where it's supposed to be because I was supposed to remove the emergency brake cable, so it goes up in and then the emergency brake. I didn't feel like taking it off, but it does go and snap in everywhere else. I bolted it up right here. There's a nut and a washer on the inside of the car. It's up higher than even the bottom of the car, so it is what it is. And that is that stuff I sprayed on. I'll show you in a second. The name brand stuff of it's called Seal All, and it was as seen on TV, it says on there, and they want like $18 a can for it. This right here is $5 at the dollar store. And you can see here what it looks like. It's like rubberized stuff. So I sprayed that underneath this whole side of underneath the car, especially like where the seams and stuff are, and mostly where the rust was. But I did kind of give it an overall coat. But all right, well, we'll get the engine back together. All right, got it all back together and it's running. I didn't paint the cover. I wanted to get it back together today. So tomorrow I come out here and start working on sanding and things like that. I want to be able to drive this thing in and out of here. I just took some brake clean and cleaned up that cover a little bit on inside and out. But fuel line seems to be working good. And I tell you, it took me all day to do that. Doesn't seem like a whole lot to you guys, but it took me all day to mess around with that gas line. But I think that's about all I got for today. Catch you guys later.